Well, hey everyone. Hope everybody's having a good day today, and I hope everybody had a great weekend. And tonight I have just something very, very small planned. I got a little presentation I want to share with you guys about some things we need to be doing in March. I do want to give a little update of what's going on today. Tonight's supposed to get down to like 30 degrees down here in Alabama. It might have changed. The weatherman may have said, oh, well, we're not going to be getting down to 33. We're going to be going down to maybe 36 or something. So, 30 degrees does make a little difference for our bees. And I took off my feed. I had some 1-to-1 sugar water that I had on the hive. I took it off. Just want to go on and take it off. I'll talk a little bit about that too. And then I put a little bit, I guess you could say, a pollen patty type stuff that I like to feed. I just made it up really, really quick. And I got back in the studio around 6:40, 20 minutes before the live stream. I was ready to get a couple more things, kind of done and ready for the live stream tonight. I do see a couple people in here I want to name out. We have Ed, who was in here first. Short Pants Bee Farm. We have Bounce Them. Good to see you. He had a question on one of my videos that I answered, so I do want to talk a little bit about his topic that he asked me, and I explained this in the tips too, just kind of a little bit about it. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. We have the Morris Homestead. Good to see you in here. We have Richard R. Bryan Jr. Good to see you. We have Keith Spillman, which we will be having on a live stream. Let's see. I think we're going to be doing that on April 29th. So April is coming along. We have some guests, some guests that are scheduled for April. So some good ones. So I will go on and, I'll tell you guys. I'll give you all a list here soon. Once I get everything on there, a list of who we are going to be having. We also do have one guest scheduled for May. So I'm starting to, so I don't have to be in a late minute type thing. So, but anyway, if I'm going to keep on talking like this, I'll probably never get my presentation. My presentation has like 38 pages. So I'm going to try to get through it really, really quick as I possibly can. So I would appreciate you if you could watch the whole thing. If you can maybe learn something from it, if you'd like. Go on and click the thumbs up button. If you would, go on and share it. I won't be able to see comments, so my brother will be able to read all of them and respond to comments, because this is going to be a good presentation, I hope. So we're going to go on. Let me go on and get it set up here. Really good thing that it took me a while to make it. And I did this presentation within, like the last couple weeks. And I enjoy doing it, and hope people like it. I think it'll be good. There we go. Let's go on, and we had our Wisconsin conference Saturday. Great turnout. Good to hear that. Short Pants Bee Farm. I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. There we go. March beekeeping tips. And let's go on and get to tip number 1. There you go. Tip number 1, ensuring the health of your colony. I've talked a lot about ensuring the health of your colony. It's really important. Ensuring the health of your hive in March is crucial to support colony survival through the critical period of spring buildup. During this time, colonies are emerging from winter. So what I'm talking about is transitioning from winter to spring and rapidly expanding their population to gather resources and prepare for the upcoming honey production in season. And healthy hive in March sets the foundation for strong colony growth, maximizing honey yields, pollination services, and overall bee population health for the rest of the year. And there are a lot of different ways to ensure the health of your colony. Um, I hope you guys can still hear me back there. Let me know as long as you can hear me. Listen, put a thumbs up if you can hear me, so that people hear me. I think you guys probably can hear me. All right, good. Thanks. All right, let's keep going. So the first, oops. Oh, this thing just don't work really good. How do you ensure the health of your colony? Well, there is a lot of different, management styles that you can do to ensure the health of your colony. A lot of different ways you can. There's a lot of different things that you do need to do to ensure the health of your colony. There's a lot of different things to do, and proper hive management is, there are a lot. It does encompasses a different, array of techniques and practices aimed at safeguarding the health and well-being of your beehive, and it is, really important for the beekeeper to undertake this crucial responsibility with care. And there's just a lot of different ways that you can ensure the health of your colony, which we'll mention here. So number one, I think it's important that we're going to be talking about is mite control. And that's right, I've talked a lot about mite control and what we're going to be trying to do to take care of that. And what, as beekeepers, I believe whenever when we are going to be having hive, we need to do everything that we can to, keep our bees healthy. I wouldn't say overdo it, but just kind of keep them their, mite control, their, mite levels, at a safe level. And varroa mites are a very significant threat to honeybee colonies worldwide. I think they are actually, I don't know if they're going to be getting into Australia. I thought they might be here soon. They've been talking about it. You guys let me know if they are or not. And they attach bees, they attach to bees and feed on their bodily fluids, hemolymph, which is equivalent to blood, and weakening the bee, sucking blood, and while they're sucking blood, they transmit various viruses and diseases. Left unchecked, varroa infestations can lead to decline and eventual collapse of the bee colony, which which the bees are essential to pollinators or for many crops and ecosystems. Um, Now there are a lot of different mite treatments, like so many different ways you can treat for mites, different things that you can use to treat for mites, a lot of different strategies, IPM, chemical treatments. As you can see on the screen here, I'll read a couple of them out. Chemical treatments. Chemical treatments involve the use of synthetic or organic compounds to control mite populations in bee colonies. These treatments may include arachicides such as fluolinate, which some of you probably don't hear. And the one that you probably do hear on here that probably sounds familiar to you is amatraz, which I've used, which is in abavar, which are applied in various forms as strips, like abavar strips, pads, or liquid formulations. Organic options like formic acid or oxalic acid are also used. Those are like the high usage. Those are ones that are used more often. Um, Either through vaporization or dribble methods. And we've talked a little bit about vaporization, stuff like that. That works too. Dribble methods, very good too. I haven't used them, but number two on here is IPM, which means Integrated Pest Management. IPM involves a combination of cultural and biological and chemical control methods to manage mite infestations while minimizing chemical inputs. So I guess a little bit more natural way, I guess you could say. Um, Cultural practices include techniques such as drone brood trapping or screen bottom boards to reduce mite populations. We've talked about using screen bottom boards for helping it, and it certainly does help it. But one thing that beekeepers like to do is they like to use it for being able to know how many mites you have in the hive. I don't think it's a good tester. If you're gonna put it one of those sticky boards, you don't know. I think like a tester, um, sugar, sugar, or powdered sugar. What I mean, or alcohol. Or you can also you can use it'll come to me at some point. I've used it before. I didn't do it right. I didn't do it right at all, but I still got it. I still had mites in there, so that was interesting. You guys, it was a year ago video. It was in February or March, or maybe I think it was in February, and I was testing for mites, and I guess I treated for mites too. But anyway, this thing right here is long, so I don't need to be getting all that. Um, right here, biological controls may involve the use of predatory mites or essential oils with medical properties. All right. Uh, me- mechanical methods. Mechanical methods involve physical removing mites from bee colonies using techniques such as powdered sugar dusting, which dislodges mites from adult bees, or using screen bottom boards to allow mites to fall out of the hive, like we were talking about earlier. And oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. Genetic resistance. Some beekeepers selectively breed honeybee colonies for traits associated with resistance to mites, which not full resistance. I'm not going to say full resistance, but somewhat of a tolerance against. Let's just say tolerance, such as hygienic behavior, which involves bees removing mite-infested brood from the hive. Breeding programs may also focus on selecting bees with traits that disrupt mite reproduction, or grooming behavior that removes mites from adult bees. Kind of like if we, as we all know, Corey Stevens. I talked to him about VSH bees, Varroa sensitive hygiene. Like we said, hygiene, like hygienic behavior. Natural and organic treatments. Beekeepers may opt for a natural or an organic treatment to control mites, including essential oils, organic acids, or extracts of medical properties. These treatments are often preferred by beekeepers seeking to minimize chemical residues in hive products or maintain organic certification. That's you two. Spring feeding. So you probably all know in spring is a very important time to try to feed our bees. Spring feeding is a practice undertaken by beekeepers to support honeybee colonies during the critical spring period, when natural forage may be scarce or insufficient. This typically occurs after winter, when the bees have depleted their stored honey reserves, and need substance, or sugar water or some kind of spring feed to kickstart colony growth and productivity, which I am doing now. I'm feeding 1-to-1 sugar water. I'm trying to boost my numbers up a good bit. Let me go back to this over here. All right, but there's a lot of different methods. We're going to talk about them later on about feeding, but it's really important. I think all of you kind of know a little bit about spring feeding. It's really important for us to be doing and what we need to do now. Let me get a little quick drink. But now we're going to talk about swarm control. Excuse me. All right, so swarm control is another important March tip that we need to be kind of focusing on. A lot of you guys know I'm trying to focus on swarm control, and you guys watch my videos, you probably see that I'm trying to be kind of proactive, and we talk about that in this too. So you'll stay tuned. Honeybee swarm control is of paramount importance, as it serves a crucial measure to safeguard the preservation of the honeybees. These diligent insects play a very important role in maintaining the balance of ecosystems worldwide by controlling swarms. Honeybees can. Oopsies, well, anyway, it's gonna be hard because this is a long form. You guys can read if you want, but basically, I'm gonna talk more. There's a lot of different swarm control methods, but another reason why we kind of want sometimes, if you are unable to maintain a swarm, don't put yourself down on that, because I've lost swarms too. Everybody does, and everyone will. And I lost one too not a while back. I've told that story before. Maybe we'll talk about it later. And it happens sometimes. Sometimes you'll lose, swarms. Maybe you're out of town. So, but one thing you always want to do is be kind of proactive, like I always talk about, and make sure you're, inspecting your hives regularly and being able to go on your hive and make sure that your that you're doing, good swarm control. Make sure you don't have any cells. If you do, go on and make a splitter or something else. Any method that you like to use to control them. Swarm control methods. There's a lot of different ones, so I just put the ones that I find the best. Regular inspections, proactiveness. Regular inspections of the hive can help beekeepers identify signs of swarming before it occurs. This includes checking for the presence of queen cells, which indicate that the colony is preparing to swarm. And the very cool thing about it is bees prepare a good bit ahead of time to think about swarming. They have a plan in place what they're going to do. And they know what they're going to do, and they plan it out, and then there they go. They make their queen cells. Right before those queen cells hatch, they leave. And they make a good bit of swarm cells. They're usually on the bottom. Providing space. Ensuring that the hive has enough space for the growing population of bees can help prevent swarming. Adding additional hive boxes or supers during the active season can provide the bees with more room to expand. Now, even sometimes if you do that, sometimes they still want to swarm. But a lot of times when they swarm is because they don't have nowhere else. The queen doesn't have anywhere else to lay, so they want to swarm and get more room and provide more room in the old hive for the new queen. And they do that over again. They also do that just because they want to reproduce. That's how bees reproduce, and we're not going to stop them from reproducing sometimes. But what we can do is, make splits, which we talked about in a little bit. Queen suppression, suppressing the queen's egg-laying activity by temporarily removing her from the hive or using techniques such as queen excluders can help prevent swarming. This method disrupts the swarming impulse by reducing the pheromones produced by the queen. That can help too. Now, not all these things are going to work by itself, so maybe put some of them together and you get one big thing that will help you out. Artificial swarm. Beekeepers can perform an artificial swarm by creating a split in the colony before they naturally swarm. This involves dividing the colony in two separate hives, each with its own queen. This method can help prevent the loss of the original colony and manage the swarming process more effectively. And that's what we usually tend to do. That's the most popular one. Queen clipping. Now, this is one that does it work or not? I don't do it. I don't suggest it, but also I don't ever suggest it either. I just if you want to clip wings, you can. Does have it probably can help, especially if you want to, but I don't clip wings. I put that on there because I thought some people might find it interesting, some different ways to control swarming. It might be something that you want to do. Clipping the wings of the queen bee can prevent her from flying, making it more difficult for the colony to swarm. However, this method requires careful handling of the queen bee and is not always effective in preventing swarming, like I said. So it's a 50-50 on if that works or if it doesn't. So we'll see. Queen rearing. Beekeepers can rear new queens to replace aging or failing queens in the hive. By introducing a new queen to the colony, beekeepers can help prevent swarming by maintaining a strong and productive hive or a colony. That helps. That's a small thing. So that you can't do that all by yourself. It's not gonna work, all by itself. You're gonna have to, add some of the other things that I said, but it does work all right. I'm sure, and I'm sure it probably does do fun. Providing ventilation. That's another small thing that ain't gonna work on its own, of course. Ventilation in the hive can help regulate the temperature and humidity levels, which can reduce the likelihood of swarming. Proper hive design and placement can promote airflow and ventilation within the hive. That's something that's very small to do. Even though these things may seem like very silly things to do, now the only silly thing, or the only thing I'm saying that I'm hesitant on is clipping the queen clipping. I don't do that. Moderating hive conditions. Keeping an eye on factors such as honey stores, brood patterns, and overall hive health can help beekeepers anticipate swarming behavior and take, proactive measures accordingly. So there we go. We got through swarm control methods. Some good things there. Like I said, queen clipping, not really for me. I'm not a fan of it. I've never done it. Some beekeepers may say they like it, and maybe you have some good success with it, but I've just never done it. Go and smash the thumbs up button if y'all would, please, on your way in. I'd appreciate it. Small hive beetle control. And you guys know, down here in Alabama, we have small hive beetles right now. They're just terrible. And small hive beetles, which that stands for SHB, small hive beetle, scientifically known as Alphina tomida. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. I don't study hive beetles. I study about bees. Like Apis mellifera, or Apis thorna, or some of those um different bees. So excuse me if I'm saying that word right. I just don't really. Maybe one day I do need to do that, so at least we can kind of have better understanding on small hive beetle. But anyway, the small hive beetle is a significant pest of honeybee colonies, particularly in regions where the beetles are prevalent, such as as parts of Africa, Australia, and North America. Controlling small hive beetles is essential to protect the hive and productive of honeybee colonies. And yes, preventing small hive beetles are important. Control methods. I have two basic ones: hive management and physical traps. Those are just two that I think are very good. You could also use peppermint, some of those other things too. Strong colonies. Maintain strong and healthy colonies with a large worker bee population. Strong colonies are better equipped to defend against small hive beetle infestations, like we always talk about. If you have a smaller hive, a lot of times the smaller hives are more susceptible. They are more, you know, they're easily going to be, could be, invaded by small hive beetles. Excuse me. Um, let's see, where are we? Regular inspections. Defend against small hive beetle infestations. Oh, there you go. Regular inspections. Regular inspections are conduct frequent hive inspections to monitor for signs of small hive beetle activity, including adult beetles, larvae, and damaged comb. Reduced hive entrances. That's a good thing too. Reduce the size of hive entrances to make it easier for bees to defend against intruders, including small hive beetles. That's another tip that you can do too. Um it works really good. Physical traps. Beetle traps. Beetle traps. Place beetle traps inside the hive, such as oil traps or beetle blaster traps, which are designed to attract and capture adult beetles. These traps can help reduce the population of small hive beetles within the hive. You probably heard of beetle jails. I have a couple of those too. Install beetle jails, which are small, confined areas within the hive that contain oil or other trapping substance, which help you control it. See, alright? Next thing I suggest is ensuring the health of your queen. Ensuring the optimal health of your queen bee is paramount due to her important role as the primary reproducer within the hive. As the sole provider of eggs, she dictates the population of dynamics and genetic diversity of the entire hive. A healthy queen bee not only ensures the well-being of the colony, but also contributes to its vitality and resilience against various environmental stressors and diseases. Thus, diligent attention to the queen bee's well-being is fundamental for the prosperity and sustainable and the well-being of the entire bee community, or the beehive itself. Drone laying queen. Now I had a question talking about you know about drones and stuff. If you have drones or if you don't or whatever, some stuff like that. He was on here earlier. Um, uh, Bounce them. He commented and asked me a little bit about drones and hive and a different question. I can't read the whole thing. I can't remember that. It was very long. Another thing I want to tell you guys is go on and leave questions and go on and sting that thumbs up button if you could. Leave a question. We'll answer it at the end of the live stream as long as we have enough time. Because at the rate we're going, I'm only on page 12 and we have 38 pages. So I don't know if I'll make it. Maybe I will. Hopefully I will. But at any rate, let me go on and get back at this. A drone laying queen. A drone laying queen bee occurs when a queen bee is unable to mate successfully or loses the ability to mate after mating. Typically, a queen mates with multiple drones, male bees, during her first flight, nuptial flight, storing their sperm in her spermatheca, a special organ for sperm storage. This sperm is then used throughout her life to fertilize eggs and maintain the colony's population. However, if a queen fails to mate properly or loses the stored sperm for some reason, she becomes unable to fertilize the eggs. As a result, she lays unfertilized eggs, which develop into drones instead of worker bees or other queens. Because whenever bees make queen, they start out from a worker egg, but then they feed them. The bees feed them royal jelly. At one point in the worker bee's life, they will be in the larva. They will be fed royal jelly, but then be switched off to be bred to be a worker. But instead of being switched off on the queen when they're trying to make a queen, they keep the royal jelly going, and then they turn into a queen larva and a pupa. Then they hatch out and they're a drone. They go out and mate. And that's kind of how everything goes again. Since drones are male and develop from unfertilized eggs, they only have half the genetic material of the queen, which is 16 chromosomes, and do not contribute to the colony's workforce or future queens. So, we talked a lot about that. This situation is unsustainable for the colony because drones do not perform any task related to foraging or nursing the brood. Doesn't mean that we don't need drones, because drones are important. Drones are important for queen mating. If we didn't have drones, then we wouldn't have bees. So they are important, but they don't give anything to the hive except for mating. That's the only thing they do, and that's all they do. And they don't go out and work. They don't do what the worker bees do. We have to have worker bees too. We have to have all the bees in the hive to sustain our bee populations. And they cannot produce worker bees or new queens. Therefore, a colony with a drone-laying queen will eventually dwindle and perish, as there are no new worker bees being produced to maintain the colony's essential functions. So, make sure you don't have a drone-laying queen, but don't automatically suspect that you have a drone-laying queen if you just see some drone cells. If you guys remember, if you saw my video, I talked a little bit about I saw you guys have to go back to video, and I also actually uploaded a short, like a 9-second short, so you can just take a little bit of time for that too. That'll be fine if you'd like after the live stream. And I have these little drone cells popping up, and either people think it's queen cells or drone laying queen. But I didn't have any drone combs. That means that hive wants to lay drones, but there's nowhere to lay drones, so that queen decided, or the bees decided, hey, let's lay some drones in a couple of these worker cells and kind of expand it. That's what you see sometimes on the bottom too. But what they did, which I don't know if you guys saw because it was at a later date, they took a little bit off and kind of created a new layer of comb on the bottom with drones in it. So they want to lay drones. So I put a drone comb in there, and right now I have feed on my hive since tonight's gonna be getting down to 33 degrees. Real quick, let me put my thing on the charger, my computer, because my computer is about to be out of battery. I don't want to get out of battery and not be able to do this presentation. That wouldn't be good. But that's kind of how that happened, and that's kind of what I did there. There we go. Got that on there. You guys go and ask some questions if you have any questions to ask. And feel free to ask questions. You want to see the thumbs up button? I appreciate it. let's go to the next one. Now we're on tip number 2. Prepare and plan for spring. That's important. Now, I don't say, this is just a tip for every time. You need to do this all the time. But in March is good too to be preparing and thinking about what you're going to be doing for honey production, and getting ready back to winter, because before you know it, we'll be back in winter. So it's important to prepare for everything in the future. I think about if you're gonna be preparing for what you're gonna be doing this spring, you probably need to go back. Make sure you plan every time, every year, every month. Just kind of be thinking of your plan. Engaging in a good planning and through preparation for spring beekeeping is in fostering optimal health, resilience, and productivity within your honeybee colonies. By strategically or trusting or approach to beekeeping activities during this critical season, you can proactively, as we always talk about, that's what we talk about on the channel, address potential challenges, maximize resources. Let's see what else we have here. Utilization, and ultimately cultivate thriving bee populations that contribute to robust pollination, honey production, and overall ecosystem health. Prep or fix boxes. And prepping and fixing old or new beekeeping boxes is essential for maintaining the functionality and overall health of your bee colonies, because it's important to do so. Neglected or damaged beekeeping boxes can harbor pests, pathogens, and environmental stressors that compromise hive stability and bee productivity. By investing time and effort into inspecting, repairing, and preparing these boxes, beekeepers can ensure a conducive and secure environment for their bees, promoting optimal brood development, honey production, and colony longevity. Additionally, well-maintained beekeeping equipment facilities, efficient management practices enhances hygiene and minimizes the risk of hive failure, ultimately contributing to sustainability and success of beekeeping operations. But this is not only going to help you out on what you need to do. It's not only going to help you out on keeping your bees healthy. It's just something else it's really important to do. Very important for us beekeepers to kind of be thinking, prepping up and stuff. Prep all your equipment. Cleaning and maintenance over the winter months. Beekeeping equipment may have accumulated dirt, debris, and propolis. Cleaning and performing maintenance tasks on equipment such as hive bodies, frames, and hive tools in March helps ensure that they are in good condition and ready for use when needed. Inventory check. March is an ideal time to take inventory of beekeeping supplies and equipment to assess what may need to be replaced or replenished for the upcoming season. This includes checking the condition of hive components, protective gear, beekeeping tools, as well as restocking essential items such as bee feed, medications, and treatments, and so much more, which I'll still mention. Optimizing hive placement. As bee colonies become more active in spring, beekeepers may need to reposition hives or set up new apiaries to optimize foraging opportunities and mitigate potential risks such as exposure to adverse weather conditions or predators. Preparing beekeeping equipment in March allows beekeepers to plan and implement hive placement strategies effectively. Plan to have a goal. This is important. Establishing clear goals in beekeeping serves as a foundational pillar, furnishing beekeepers with a robust framework that steers their endeavors with precision and purpose. By delineating specific objectives, beekeepers gain a comprehensive roadmap that not only facilitates informed decision making, but also empowers them to meticulously prioritize actions in alignment with their overarching aspirations. This strategic alignment fosters a harmonious, good way between aspiration and action, and a dynamic process of deliberate cultivation aimed at attaining covet outcomes. Furthermore, the cultivation of such coloration fosters a culture of conscious refinement and optimization, where beekeepers can adaptively navigate the complexities of beekeeping with foresight and efficiency, ultimately propelling them towards sustained success and fulfillment in their beekeeping ventures. So, good thing to think about whenever you're gonna try to have a goal. And basically, what this means, if you you know the fancy words, just it really means just have a goal you can. Um, it'll push you forward. It'll help you out. Know what you need. Know what you're gonna be trying to do in the upcoming season of beekeeping. If you know what I mean. Work to be proactive. We talked about proactive on the other times, and it's important to be um a proactive. Embracing a proactive approach in beekeeping is very important due to its pivotal role in preempting challenges and safeguarding the robustness and productivity of bee colonies. By anticipating and addressing potential issues before they escalate, beekeepers not only uphold the well being of their colonies, but also foster an environment conducive to optimal honey production, pollination efficiency, and overall hive prosperity. This proactive stance empowers beekeepers to implement preventive measures, enact timely interventions, and uphold stringent health protocols, and thereby fortifying the resilience and sustainability of their beekeeping endeavors. Another thing we need to be doing is work to be intentional. Embracing intentionally in beekeeping stands as a cornerstone of success. Cornerstone. That means not all the way of a success, but just a little may help you out to be a little bit more successful, which I've talked about being intentional with your bees. As it means and really what this means is by adopting a deliberate and strategic approach, beekeepers can not only optimize resource utilization, but also cultivate an environment conducive to sustained growth, robust health, and prolific honey production within their colonies. This intentional stewardship not only enhances operational effectiveness, but also elevates the overall standard of the hive management laying the groundwork for enduring success and prosperity in the beekeeping endeavors, wherever it may be. Spring management plans. Having a management plan, which I'm talking about. I'm trying to do. Look, I'm trying to work to be a better beekeeper. That's what I want to do. I didn't mention on here. I'm gonna mention it now. I think it's really important to work to be a better beekeeper for everybody, even myself. Even though I've been keeping bees for 7, 8 years now, doesn't mean I'm the best beekeeper out there, right? And having a spring management plan, I've talked about having a spring management plan for a while, and you guys hear me all the time talking about what I need to do better this year, and I'm not gonna go on and explain all of it now, but you guys kind of have an idea of what I'm trying to do and what I want to do. But spring management plans are paramount in the realm of beekeeping due to their capacity to provide beekeepers with a roadmap for navigating the complexities inherent in this pivotal season. And by crafting and executing these plans, beekeepers can proactively anticipate and cater to the unique requirements for their colonies as they embark on a transformative journey marked by heightened activity and burgoying, burgoying and growth. In their growth, I should say. A lot of fancy words in here. But excuse those fancy words. I'm going to try to just say easy ones so you guys can understand them a little bit better. This deliberate, approach not only, fosters and preservation of hive health, but also sets the stage for unpropelled productivity, enabling beekeepers to capitalize on the abundant opportunities presented during this crucial period of seasonal transition. So, having a good management plan right now is really important for us beekeepers to have. Keep yourself informed. I think that's very important. Keep yourself informed. Keep yourself having, read books, all your different things. Maintaining a commitment to education and beekeeping is paramount as it positions you at a forefront of knowledge empowering you with insights into cutting-edge research, best practices, and involving industry trends. By immersing yourself in ongoing education, you can cultivate a understanding of beekeeping dynamics, equipping you with the needed to make astute decisions that the well-being and productivity of your bee colonies that will bolster the well-being of your bee colonies. This dedication to learning not only enhances your proficiency as a beekeeper, but also serves as a catalyst for transformative and advancements within your apiary, ensuring that you'll remain at the vanguard of beekeeping excellence, which really just means that you'll keep yourself informed. You can, keep yourself informed on, the bees. You kind of know a lot of different things about what they're doing. All right, be ready. That's what I said. I said BEE ready. And that's what it really means. The be ready. That's what it means. And it just means being proactive again, but having being able to be ready for different things. Because sometimes you may be on plan A, you may end up on plan C or D. Sometimes beekeepers should uphold a proactive stance and readiness for unforeseen circumstances, as it positions them with the agility and foresight necessary to navigate unexpected challenges seamlessly. By maintaining a state of constant preparedness, beekeepers cultivate a culture of resilience and resourcefulness, empowering them to pivot strategies and employ um, ongoing measures when devastations from the plant arise. Devastations, I'm just misspelling those. This proactive approach not only serves to mitigate potential disruptions, but also fosters a steadfast commitment to safeguarding high health and productivity, ensuring that bee colonies remain resilient in the face of adversity. Through this readiness, beekeepers uphold a standard of excellence in hive management, fostering stability and sustainability within their apiaries, even amidst the uncertainties of beekeeping. So, you really never know what's going to happen in your bee yard. You never know what's going to occur. You never know what is going to happen. So just know it's not always going to be what you want it to be. Sometimes you may have plan A, may end up on plan C or D. You never know. C. Let's go on to the next one. Be ready. All right. Tip number 3, bee health and disease management, which is really essential for what we need to do. Bee health and disease management are critically important because bees play a crucial role in global food production through pollination. Without healthy bee populations, many crops would suffer from reduced yields or even fail to produce fruit entirely. This can lead to food shortages, decreased biodiversity, and economic losses for farmers and agricultural industries. Thus, prioritizing bee health and effectively managing diseases, ensuring the continuity of pollination services, safeguarding both agricultural productivity and ecosystem stability. AFB, American foulbrood. American foulbrood is a highly contagious and devastating bacterial disease that affects honeybee larvae. Its significant lies in its ability to decimate entire bee colonies, causing significant economic losses for beekeepers. AFB-infected larvae produce large quantities of spores, which can persist in hive equipment and beekeeping environments for many, many years, posing a continual threat to future colonies. Therefore, understanding and effectively managing AFB is crucial for maintaining the health and productivity of bee populations and safeguarding the sustainability of beekeeping operations, which is also important. Testing for AFB. Clinical signs. Experienced beekeepers can often identify AFB based on visible symptoms within the hive. These include sunken, perforated, or discolored cap brood cells, along with a very foul odor, resembling rotting meat. However, clinical signs alone may not always be conclusive and require confirmation through laboratory testing. Number 2, spore sampling. Beekeepers can collect samples of brood, comb, or debris from suspected AFB infected hives and send them to a laboratory for analysis. Laboratory technicians can then examine the samples under a microscope to detect the presence of the larva, the bacterium responsible for AFB, and its characteristic spores. PCR, polymerase chain reaction testing. PCR testing is a biology technique used to detect specific DNA sequences, allowing for highly sensitive and accurate identification of pathogens like P. larvae. Beekeepers collect samples from affected hives, such as brood comb or larvae, and send them to specialized laboratories equipped to perform PCR testing for AFB. Commercial test kits. Some companies offer commercial test kits designed for on-site detection of AFB in bee colonies. These kits typically involve collecting samples using sterile swabs or test strips, which are then processed using um, proprietary reagents to detect the presence of AFB, DNA, or spores. Spores can last a while. While convenient, the accuracy and reliability of these kits may vary, and confirmation by a professional laboratory may still be necessary. European foulbrood. Now, I'm going to start kind of rolling through these pretty fast because there are still a little bit of things I do want to talk about at the end. I think if you guys want to ask little questions, you can. Excuse me. EFB, European foulbrood, is a bacterial disease that primarily affects honeybee larvae. Its significance lies in potential to weaken bee colonies, leading to reduced population size, diminished honey production, and ultimately colony failure. Therefore, understanding and effectively manage EFB, European foulbrood, is crucial for maintaining the health and productivity of bee populations and ensuring the sustainability of beekeeping operations. I think we talked about field testing kits, laboratory analysts, from broodcomb, larvae, or adult bees from suspected EFB infected colonies, and, send them to laboratories, of course. So we've already talked about that. So we're not going to go over that. We already talked about PCR. So you guys can read that if you want to pause it. If you're watching back at the replay, you can always go back and see if you want to read it. Clinical signs. Let's talk about some of the clinical signs because some of them are different than the AFB. Beekeepers can visually inspect brood frames for characteristic or symptoms of such as uncapped or sunken larvae with a melted or ropey appearance. Unlike American foulbrood, AFB, the larvae affected by EFB often appear discolored, yellowish, brown, or gray. Nosema. And a lot of people I know up north probably have nosema. I know like Ian Stepler has a little problem sometimes along with that. Last time I saw, I don't know if you had a problem with it this year, but maybe it did. I'm not sure, but Nosema is profoundly impactful due to its ability to compromise bee health on multiple fronts. This parasitic infection not only undermines the strength of bee colonies, but also imposes the detrimental effects on honeybee production. Moreover, by weakening bees' immune systems, Nosema renders them more susceptible. Excuse me. They makes them more easily um they can get other diseases a little bit more easier, and environmental stressors, which challenges faced by bees. So knowing Nosema is important too. I haven't had any, thankfully. I've never experienced it, but mark on the right here, it talks a little bit about kind of how it starts. So if you want to pause it there, you can also read that. I'll read a little bit for you guys real quick. Nosema is investigated by Microsporidian. I'll learn that too. Parasites known as Nosema apis and Nosema ceranae. Hope I'm saying that right. And you guys can and pause it because we're kind of almost out of time, so we got to kind of keep going. Testing for Nosema. microscopic examination, beekeepers can collect samples of bee feces or gut tissue and examine them under a microscope. The presence of Nosema spores, which appear all small, oval-shaped structures, can be detected through microscopic observation. Spore counting. This method involves collecting samples of bee feces or gut tissue and then dilating and homogenizing them before counting the number of Nosema spores present using special, tools or, special tools that, scientists use, count slides and specialized counting slides. Spore counts above a certain threshold indicate a Nosema infection. PCR, we've talked about that already. Might be different, detect the presence of Nosema DNA in bee samples. And commercial test kits, we already talked about that, but we haven't talked about behavioral observation. Well, not a direct diagnosis method, but beekeepers may observe changes in the behavior of bees within affected colonies, such as increased defecation or dysentery-like symptoms, which can indicate a Nosema infection. Behavioral observations can complement laboratory testing for a more comprehensive assessment of colony health. Excuse me, sometimes I'm talking a lot, sometimes I can get my words twisted up. Shock brood. Shock brood. Shock brood emerges as a formidable threat to bee colonies, wielding the power to debilate their vitality by targeting the brood. And a lot of times, beekeepers will say, chalk brood feels like chalk. Like, chalk that you use to chalk on, on the stone, stuff like that. That's why hence the nickname chalk brood. And it isn't as, I wouldn't say as bad as AFB. It's something that can slowly, take down your bees. And, chalk brood, it's not like you don't need to worry about it, but it's just something that you do need to think about, y'all. And this can make your bees a little bit more easily, be able to get other diseases, or they could be even more easily, could get like varroa mites, their a lot of their different viruses could affect, the bees even more worse, and because it can bring them down a lot. But I just do know, if you're wondering where chalk brood nickname starts from, it's because a lot of beekeepers, I've never felt it, but it feels like chalk, as you can see on the pictures. Testing for chalk brood. Visual inspection. Beekeepers can visually inspect brood frames for the characteristic symptoms of chalk brood, including the appearance of chalk-like mummified bee larvae. Infected larvae may appear white or grayish and have a hardened, mottled appearance. Brood dissection. Beekeepers can dissect affected brood cells to examine the larvae for signs of chalk brood infection. Infected larvae will typically exhibit a chalky, mummified appearance with the fungal spores visibly under magnification. Spore counting, we've already talked about that. Beekeepers can collect samples of brood comb or affected larvae and perform spore counting to quantify the level of chalk brood infection. Spore counting can be done using a special tool or specialized counting slide after homogenizing and diluting these samples. Fungal culture. Beekeepers can collect samples of affected brood or comb and culture them on nutrient media to isolate and identify the chalk brood fungus. Their name, which I don't study chalk brood all the time, I study brood, but Apis, I guess, it's still kind of relate to bees. See, this method requires specialized equipment and expertise, but can provide the definitive confirmation of chalk brood infection. PCR, we've already talked about that in some of our other things. That's one thing that you can do, but I'm not going to go over it, so many times because you guys might get bored on the same things over and over. Yeah, go on and sting that like if you could. Smash the thumbs up button if you would, and if you do have any questions, that's fine. I have one, but by the time we're done, I probably won't have all the time for questions. But if you have one question, I probably can sneak it in. Sac brood. Sac brood emerges as a formidable threat to bee colonies, wielding the power to deliberate their vigility by targeting the brood, as we've talked about before. A lot of these go for the brood. These are brood, viruses or diseases. These affliction precipitates, I guess that's how you say it. Interesting little name there. A cascade of adverse consequences, including diminished population size, compromised productivity, and heightened vulnerability to an array of additional stressors and diseases, such as vigilance and proactive management, are paramount in safeguarding bee colonies against the detrimental effects of sac brood. Testing for sac brood. Visual inspection. Beekeepers visually inspect brood frames for the characteristic symptoms of sac brood. Infected larvae will appear swollen and upcule, and with their with their bodies stretched out in a sac-like shape, the larva may also turn yellow or brown as they decay. Now, the reason why I'm reading these is because these are here are so small. It's so hard to read them. And the reason why I have to do these words so small, if you're wondering, is because they won't fit otherwise. So I'm having a little problem reading them, but you guys may be able to see them okay. You can do sample collection. Beekeepers can collect samples of affected brood, including larvae showing symptoms of sac brood, and submit them to a laboratory for analysis. The laboratory can confirm the presence of sac brood by examining the larva under a microscope or through other diagnostic diagnosis methods. PCR chain reaction testing. We've talked about that already. When I put these down, I just put some of the same ones on because you can do that for almost all these, to test for it. I'm looking at the comments right now, and yes, I see it's snowing up in the mountains. Wow. And it's not gonna snow here, but it's gonna get down to 33 degrees unless they changed it. All right, sugar syrup. Now we're off of the diseases. Now we're kind of coming on something different now, because that's what we've been talking about for at least the last 15 minutes on diseases. But it's good stuff. Good stuff. I hope you guys like it. And I saw that. I'm glad you liked the formation of this stuff. It took me like a couple days to get this whole thing set up for the presentation. I've been doing this presentation for almost an hour. I'm not done yet. I still have 5 more pages to go for, so we'll see how that goes. We may have actually 7. I don't know yet. Sugar syrup additives. Honeybee Healthy. That's one very popular one. This product is a popular choice among beekeepers and contains essential oils, lemongrass, spearmint, and thyme, designed to boost bee health and stimulate feeding. It is often used as a feeding stimulant and support overall colony health. And I've never used Honeybee Healthy. I use Apis Biologics. I actually put a little bit of Apis Biologics in my pollen patty that I made, or just a homemade pollen patty. I don't know if I'd call it a pollen patty, but maybe you could call it. But you will see how that works out. Maybe I may try to get some and see how it works out just as a test. I guess it probably wouldn't hurt. Protein supplements, various protein supplements formulated specific. These protein are used for or made for bees, are available to purchase online. These supplements may include ingredients such as soy flour, brewer's yeast, and pollen substitute powders to provide essential amino acids and nutrients during times of pollen scarcity. Whenever you don't have much of any pollen around. Electrolyte supplements. Beekeeping specific supplements such as bee vitalize vitil vitilice. I guess that's how you say it. I've never heard of these. Maybe you guys have, but I've heard of honeybee healthy. I heard I hear a lot about it, but these are some interesting ones. Or bee centrioles. I think I've heard that one before. Can't be purchased online. These products are designed to provide bees with essential electrolytes, vitamins, and minerals to support hydration and overall colony health, particularly, really, during periods of high activity or hot weather. So it just kind of helps with and it helps out with bee health is what these sugar additives are for. 19 tonight. Well, that's pretty cold. It's supposed to get 24 tonight. Well, that's pretty cold too. Go on and stand that thumbs up button if y'all would. Beginner Beekeeper March tip. So we're about to be done. Number 1, install your your bees, package or nukes. As it warms up and the bees expand onto 7 frames, give them more room. Add more boxes if you need to. Treat for mites. Let's see here. Oopsie, I might have disconnected son. Let me reconnect my camera so there you go. Where was I? All right, give them more room. Treat for mites, and then add honey seepers. That's important. Educate yourself. You got to educate yourself, new beekeepers. Even if you are a beekeeper who's been keeping bees for 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, educate yourself before you embark on the noble endeavor of beekeeping. It is important to cultivate a comprehensive understanding of the of this apiculture, of this art, because beekeeping is an art. And I've always said you always have to take time. You might hear it from Bob Benny, the art of beekeeping. Really important, and really what the art of beekeeping is it takes time. It's an art. It's a skill. And we talked about art of raising queens, and raising queens takes a lot of skill and a lot of art. So that's what beekeeping is. So make sure you educate yourself, get some books. The Beekeeping Bible is a really good book. You can learn a lot on that too, and it's a really, really good book. I would suggest that if you're gonna try to get any. There's a couple David Burns books that they're on there too. Those are pretty good. I have one of those. Really good book, and a lot of others too. A lot of different books that I'm probably not mentioning. So, oh, there we go. We got hey Earl, good to see you in here. It's been a while since we see you, Earl. Good to see you in here, and we also have Jeff Perry. Perry, excellent presentation. Appreciate your effort to help us be better beekeepers. Thank you, Jeff. I'm trying to help everybody out, and we um oh yeah, Tim. We thought so too. I think we're supposed to get down to 33, and I'm glad we're not going to get down to 19. We are only down to 30ish, so not too bad for y'all, Keith. I guess I guess y'all are kind of a little bit 2 degrees under the whatever, freezing. Installing a nuke. Choose a location. Prepare the site. Being able to pick a good location for your nuke hive. It should be sheltered from extreme weather conditions and have a good access for both bees and the beekeeper. Prepare the site. Ensure the hive stand or base is level and stable. This will prevent the hive from tipping over once it's in place. And assemble your hive equipment before your nuke gets there, or even if your nuke's there, before you do, because you want to have a deep to put your nuke in once you transfer it. Gather all the necessary equipment, including the bottom board, high body with frames and foundation, inner cover, outer cover, and entrance reducer, because you'll want an entrance reducer. Transport the nucleus hive. If you purchase a nucleus colony from a supplier, transport it carefully to your apiary, which I'm going to do. Open the nuke hive. Gently remove any straps, coverings from nucleus hive. Inspect the frames. Carefully inspect each frame to ensure that the queen is present and there are eggs, brood, and food storage. This is also a good opportunity to check for any signs of disease or pests while you're doing that. Prepare the new hive. What you want to do, beekeepers, if you're going to be getting a new hive or your box, is you want to remove a couple of the frames from the center of the hive body of your new hive, to create space for transferring 5 frames from the nucleus hive to your new clean deep that you bought or maybe you have from a previous year. Maybe you're a second year beekeeper. Transfer frames. Carefully transfer the frames from the new hive to the new hive. Also, I would say be cautious not to harm the bees or queen during this process. Be really careful. Be really patient. I always say, be patient. Um, Lift your frames up slowly and then put them in so you avoid killing the queen. And it's also helpful to smoke the bees lightly before transferring to calm them down just a little bit. Secure the hive. Once all frames have been transferred, carefully close the hive, ensuring that the frames are properly spaced and the inner and outer cover are in place. Provide water and food. Ensure that the bees have access to fresh water and food sources, especially if there isn't much forage available in the immediate area. Also, feed them. I don't know if it mentioned on here. You need to feed your bees whenever you're installing a new. But after you install them, make sure you feed them. Even though they may have some honey, just go on and give them a little bit of stimulant, some kind of 101 sugar water that will help them. That will help stimulate them to start laying, for the queen to start laying more eggs. Monitor the hive. That's important too. Check on the hive regularly in the first few days to ensure that the bees are setting in well and to address any issues. So I would wait about 5 days or 6, 7 days. I would probably wait about 7 days and then check your hive. Make sure you monitor them. Installing package. Number one, choose a location. Choose a good location for your hive. It should be sheltered from any extreme weather and conditions and have good access for both the bees and the beekeeper, like we mentioned earlier. Prepare the net. You want to go on and prepare the new hive and ensure that your hive equipment is ready. You want to have your equipment ready, folks. New beekeepers, or even if you're going to get a package and you've been keeping bees 5 years, make sure you have your equipment ready. You never know if your packages are going to be here earlier. That's what I'm doing. I all my stuff is already ready. Everything's set. I could have them right now, but that's right. Be ready. You never know. I never know if those nukes may be ready a little bit earlier because maybe after this we have a really really long warm really good pollen. You never know, but I feel like we'll probably have another cold snap, one more cold snap, maybe not. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Maybe this is the last one. Um, Prepare the feeder. If you're using a feeder to provide sugar syrup for the bees, fill it with the appropriate sugar mixture for according to your beekeeping practices that you like to do, just whatever you like to do. Prepare the package before installing bees. Spray the screen of the package with a light mist of water to calm the bees. This will make them less likely to fly around aggressively. Now, most likely, even they won't, but I like to do sugar. Sometimes I'll do sugar water, but water is probably the best bet. Sometimes maybe once in a while it probably could. I don't know if it could attract other bees from other colonies. If you have other bees in your apiary, be careful for that. If you're gonna use sugar water, just use regular water. That'd be my tip because it's kind of obvious. Might attract other bees and it could attract them to that hive. They might try to rob it out. That wouldn't be good because that's a new established hive. Because if you guys know what I mean. Install the package. Remove the canned syrup if included from the package, and carefully remove the queen cage from the package. Inspect the queen to ensure she is alive and healthy. Hang the queen cage between two frames and the hive, ensuring the screen is facing outwards. But before you actually put the queen in, I think I might have put them out of place. Before you want to shake the bees in, remove the remaining frames from the hive, shake or gently pour the bees from the package into the hive. Try to get as many bees as possible into the hive, but don't worry if some remaining clinging to the package. You could just set it right in front of the hive, they'll fly back in maybe, hopefully. That's what I did. What you want to do is you want to release the bees first in there and then put your queen in. A lot of accidentally flip-flopped them, but just to let you guys know, make sure to release the bees in, remove those frames, and then put the queen in. That's the best bet to do it. Feed the bees. You need to feed your bees, guys, folks. If you're people who are watching, if you're using a feeder, place it on top of the frame in the new hive. Fill it with sugar syrup to provide nourishment for the bees as they establish themselves in their new home. Join a beekeeping association. If you're a new beekeeper, even if you're a 5-year beekeeper, it's a good idea. if you can join somewhere, a beekeeping association, if you can find somewhere in your location, that can help you with some local associations, so you kind of have an idea what's going on in your apiary or in your location, so people around you kind of know, they kind of give you some tips. Also will help you continue and have good opportunities, resources, and essential for ongoing beekeepers. So I think that's important. Join a beekeeping association. Well, we are done with the presentation. I appreciate you guys watching the presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it in some form. Thank you guys for watching. And I really appreciate you guys watching. Let's see here. There you go. All right, guys. Let's see here. Hey everybody, good seeing you. Checking comments. Don't want to miss any. Oh, there you go. Another question. Grayson, which easy way do you recommend for a hive split? Never done one before. Great question there. And I don't know if you're still on there, bounce them, but like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of different methods for making a split. Probably one of the best ways, what I would say, is like a walkaway split. That's a good one. If you have double deep, or even in the middle, you just take the deep, carry it away, put it on another hive. All those old bees will fly to the new hive, or to the old hive, and then be with them. And then you have the other hive, have those nurse bees and the brood hatching out. Those old bees, or those nurse bees that are in there, will be in there. Then you have your new brood coming out. Then you will be, then those bees will get kind of older while you have those nurse bees. You'll kind of start getting back up in numbers, and it'll be a really good split there. That's one of the best ways to do it if you're a new beginner. But if you don't have double deep, you can still split them down the middle, 5 and 5 frames of here. Let me go on talk a little bit about oh, there we go. Let me go on and remove this. There you go. Sorry. Oopsie, I did accidentally press some buttons. But anyway, you can take 5 frames. 5 frames with the queen. I'll actually leave the queen in the original location. And what you can do is you can take 5. You can either do it either way. You could leave the queen in the location, in the same location. But one of the best ways to do it is to, in the original location, take the queen out, put it in a nuke box, and take it away. Same with everyone. Whenever you're doing one of those, you got to make sure you have the queen. So if you have a double deep, a good way to do it, you could find the queen. If you're doing a regular inspection, you know that you need to split them. You can go on and put a queen excluder, or at that time, if you're doing an inspection, just look at the frame. If you see the queen, take that box off, put the frame back in there, of course, set everything up, and then take that box with the queen and take her and put her on the hive, to a different location. I think that's all the questions. Let's see. Same boat, starting from the bottom. We need advice getting our bees growing, catching swarms, agriculture. I don't know if that's a question for me, but I think that might be a question for somebody else. But anyway, are the same boat. We need advice getting our bees growing, catching swarms, agriculture. Well, getting your bees growing, you stimulate them. We talked about that too. You can catch swarms. Let me check the new comments. You can catch your own swarms. Grow your populations in your apiary. It's a good way to grow your populations. Really good, and really good to keep your bees healthy. And but anyway, I'm going to get off here. We've been going for an hour and 14 minutes. Wow. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks to Earl for joining. Thank you, Tim and Hannah, for joining. I appreciate you. Everybody else who joined, I can't name everybody. Granddad, Keith, Jeff Perry, a lot of other people. So, hey guys, take care. Go on, sting thumbs up button. I appreciate the people who watched tonight and who took the time to join our live stream tonight. We appreciate it. We go live every Monday night, This is our night, usually every Monday night. We go live at 7 p.m. Central Time. We really like doing these. I plan to do more of them, guests too. But one thing I will say, if you haven't already, go back and check our live stream from last week. We had a really, really good live stream with Chris Werner. That's right, Chris Werner. He was on the screen. He was talking about bees with us and answered a lot of questions. That might be something that you might be interested in. Make sure to go check that out. Make sure to go check out my videos if you haven't already. Go and subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate you. Catch you guys on the next live stream. Take care, everyone.